Hey crew, welcome back to the Spiritual Social. I'm Lexi, your local lightworker, and I'm very happy to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and deciding to watch a video of mine. I'm really happy to have you here. So, for today, my darlings, this is a subscriber's requested video, and it is actually the counterpart to a previous video I uploaded a couple of weeks ago. That video was about embodying the divine feminine, but somebody came with a beautiful suggestion that, hey, how about we do one on embodying our divine masculine? Embodying, that's the word. There we go. So this is about that animus part of our soul, so the masculine element in our lives. This can apply to if you are a man and you're interested in developing further your masculine sense of self, but primarily this is for my wide viewers, which I know you guys are mostly women. And if you're looking for potential suggestions, recommendations, some inspiration as to how you can become more masculine in your life, then this is the right video for you, okay? So at the moment, I'm filming this with the energy of the current Mars retrograde in Aries, which is lasting until January of 2021. It's a very prolonged period where all of our desire to act and our sheer willpower, our decisiveness, determination, bravery, and confidence, instead of being played outward in relations with other people, is going inside. So it's a lot about the inner work we can do at the moment to stoke the fires of our inner divine masculine. Okay, that was the introduction. Now let me show you the options here. So you have a choice from 3 different types of dark protective stones, 2 obsidians and 1 black tourmaline. So group 1 here has the Snowflake obsidian. This is very beautiful, luscious stone with some flakes, gray flakes in it. Then group 2 has this tourmaline pendant. Guys, be careful. If you purchase tourmaline, please don't put it into water because it can dissolve and break. And then finally, we have the simple, normal, classic obsidian stone. Wow, see how brilliantly it scintillates? I love this stone. Very protective, very grounding, very root chakra energies for you to choose from tonight. Feel free to pause the video here and meditate on which of the pile or the stones pulls you in the easiest. I already pre-shuffled the cards because I just want to get into what I saw during the meditation I had before preparing these piles. And I really want to just get into reading the cards without interruptions so we can flow, baby, flow. Okay, if you've made your choice, then I'll be super happy to find you at your pile. Bye. Hey group 1, hello, welcome to your reading. This is going to be about some strategies, some suggestions, some inspiration regarding how you can best embody your divine masculine side. So this is for those of you that were drawn to the Snowflake obsidian. You can see the stone much better here. Highly protective stone, also a little bit playful, a little bit shape-shifting because it has, unlike the normal obsidian, it has these flakes in it, right? So it's kind of like, oh God, I'm hearing a sheep in wolf's clothing. Interesting. Okay. So I feel like this is a little bit my cheeky pile, but we're going to get down to that in a second. Before I actually show you the cards and I get into interpreting them, I do want to read you what I saw during my meditation. I went into a 7 minutes meditation before doing, arranging the piles. And I picked up on certain images and certain sights, sounds, words that I think could be significant to the message you need to hear today in this reading, okay? So I have my notes here on my phone. Okay, so for you guys, your divine masculine image was a tiger roaring, and it was like a face of a tiger just coming at me, very powerful, very vital, very quick. So an immense expanse of energy. Then I saw orange and white flickers, kind of like I was almost as if I was in a womb. Then I saw, okay, interesting, blood dripping from a hand, but the blood were clear drops of ruby red. So it wasn't disgusting, it was more like a feeling of apprehension, what happened, but it was also looking quite aesthetically beautiful. Then the movement made by a slap. So not exactly the slap itself, it wasn't the focus on that, but you know that movement when you shift the energy like this very quickly before you touch somebody's face or other body part that you're aiming to slap. It was about the swiftness, right? So the swiftness was really important. Then I saw a solitary dervish with the white skirts, with the traditional white skirts and square red hat. I'm sure it has a specific name. Let me know down in the comments. But that was the image that I saw, dancing alone. So just one dervish spinning in spiritual bliss in a building. Then I saw conquest, the word conquest, rising up. So there was a feeling of rising up. I wanted to literally lift myself up as I was meditating, turning fear into laughter. All of a sudden, I don't know why, but I got a pang of fear, and then I felt like smiling, and it was transmuting energy. So I think this is significant for some of you out there. So learning to turn fear into laughter is a badass hardcore power move, okay? And then the final image that I had for you guys was a man shaking his head like this very quickly again, left to right. So there is something here with your group about swiftness, movement, things happening very quickly. I'm feeling a little bit of organized chaos, if you want to call it like that. And there was also something regarding violence. The blood I thought was significant because usually, psychoanalytically speaking, blood in dream interpretations represents guilt, so a feeling of guilt. There is something here about not wanting to potentially come in touch with your divine masculine because you might have had arguments, conflicts, very severe conversations with men in your life that kind of made you feel, or male-like figures, maybe even women that had very strong masculine energy, right? So, oh my God, so many things coming through. Okay, just a second. So I feel like you're maybe like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be conflictual. I don't want to be aggressive. I don't want to, be quick and hot-headed and, be insensitive to those around me, because potentially you have suffered from that insensitivity and that aggression and that speed. Some of you want to study law. I feel some of you grew up in households where parents were arguing a lot and there were competing arguments, and you had to pay attention. You had to kind of resolve the tension between the two parents, or either that or your parents kind of placed you in the middle and they asked you for, well, what do you think? It's almost like you were the third person, you or your sibling. But I feel like this is predominantly placed on you, the viewer, the one who chose this pile. So I'm just going to say things as they come through, okay? I feel very strongly that with the tiger as well, this is about adopting this kind of potentially aggressive masculinity into your own shadow self, because the tiger is a symbol of lunar energy. I'm kind of making these movements because a tiger hunts at night. It's a cat, right? So it's a big cat, and felines usually sleep most of the day and then they're very active at night. I can see that with Luna. She's over there. She's about to wake up and go crazy on this place because we're approaching midnight. So that's the hour when she's wakes up. So enough about my cat. I want to go now into your cards and see if the messages from the meditation actually match with this. This is the best part. Okay, the cards that you got are Integrity, 9 of Wands. I'm getting a feeling like this is almost like the Tower energy. Again, violence, aggression, Mars energy. From Archangel Michael, we have guarded and protected. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for protecting my loved ones and me, ensuring that we're safe and that all of our needs are met. I now accept your help gratefully and gracefully, knowing that it's right for me and all others to accept heavenly assistance. Yeah, so I'm getting the feeling that some of you could have suffered from some sort of male aggression, and it's like a part of you dissociated from aggression entirely without realizing that we are aggressive beings as well. That's part of our animal makeup, you know, before we progressed to such a high level of consciousness that we are today in the age of information. We used to be very primal, very instinctual, right? That's why we have laws and rules and regulation in place to kind of, you know, temper that instinct that still awakens within us and causes, you know, an excessive ego, right? So again, I have the feeling you guys want to study law or courts. You want to be part of lawmaking, legislators. Potentially some of you want to be policemen or grew up in families with police people. There is a sense here of the law. I'm getting a very strong Libra and Aries axis with this pile. So you guys, you know, issues of justice and aggression, Aries, aggression, conflict, fighting, Libra, justice, balance, reconciliation, negotiation, reaching compromises, right? That, you know, protecting people from killing each other or beating each other up. So let's move on with the cards. We have Sandpiper Spirit, be playful. So that's the high octave of Aries energy, creativity, playfulness. And we are right now in a Mars retrograde in Aries, so I feel that this energy is strongly coming through your group. Then we have here Butterfly Spirit, and the message is transformation is beautiful. And I think transformation in your case is actually referring to the fact that some of you, this could specifically apply to some of you that chose this group, you're in the process of integrating your shadow self. So you could have very strong transits in the 7th house. You know, maybe you're like me, you have Uranus transiting your 7th house, which is a lot of insights from the unconscious. It's like you act in ways and then you realize, where did that come from? That was completely unexpected. So some of you have repressed some of your anger because you don't want to be like violent men in your life or violent women that have a very strong masculine energy. But because, you know, aggression and violence is part of our human makeup, you kind of repress that. I hope that makes sense. So it's kind of like aggression is part of you. It's naturally part of all of us. We learn how to control it in the civilizing and socializing process. But I feel like you went one notch too far in controlling it to the point where sometimes I feel some of you could get depressed because instead of confronting people and acting a little bit more passionate or more, you know, caliente and, you know, talking back and talking, you know, standing up for yourself, you tend to pull everything inwards because you have that mental image of that father figure or brother figure or potentially even a romantic partner at whose hands you suffered some sort of, you know, I hope not, but I do feel this energy, you know, this conflict, violence. And if you suffered that from them, a part of you repressed very strongly this Aries-like energy. We all have Aries in our chart in the astrological wheel because we all have the 12 signs. Just some of us have planets there, which makes the energy more important, more concentrated. Let's move on. So we have Dancer of Lies. Whoa. And I think that this is, again, as I was saying, repressing conflict, repressing aggression, that vital life force. It's almost, I feel like part of you are constricting your Muladhara, your root chakra, right? And this is why sometimes you might feel like, in spite of the fact that you're trying to control conflicts in your life, by not accepting your aggressive masculine side, you are kind of sometimes producing, without even realizing that you're producing them, conflicts out of the blue, or you attract conflicts to you. Whereas if you were to rise into this energy and embody it and, you know, pull the plug from the repression you created around your root chakra, then you would normally feel this energy burning within you, and it won't need to come from the outside to shock you into the awareness that, hey, you are aggressive as well. Hey, you are creating conflict as well. Hey, you know, so it's kind of like some of you are really meeting your shadows, because that's not easy at all to realize that you also have a crazy side. You know, I have that, my parents have that, everyone that I've met has that, you know, everyone has a crazy side. You know, we all tend to be a little bit passionate or triggered, or, you know, we all have our pet peeves, right? So it's just a question of, you know, coping with that or integrating it into your life in a way that is healthy, that does not end up, you know, in front of a tribunal and you end up in prison, God forbid, right? Okay, so we have here the zebra as well. This is actually a really beautiful energy. This is more on the Libra spectrum side of this reading, because as I said, I feel very strongly this Libra Aries dichotomy with you guys. So this is about being worldly, being a little bit eccentric, and being quite elegant. You know, Zebra is a very beautiful, unique individual that is kind of like, it's very urbane, you know, almost a little bit like a hipster, like a person that combines vintage clothes with new pieces, knows a lot about things, but kind of on the surface level. But it's also about, you know, kind of integrating your masculinity with your femininity. So this side of you that wants to keep things fair and balanced and relatively black and white, with that side of you that wants to wants to erupt a little bit, you know, that side of you that kind of gets a little bit like hot-headed and crazy and, oh my god, this is driving me crazy. I feel like you would benefit if you had more episodes like that. Not to lose your control completely, but you know, I mean, from time to time, if you get angry, smash a plate. I know that may sound like strange advice to hear, but, or like if that is a bit, you know, because the plate debris can get into your fingers and harm you, so I wouldn't recommend that. But like, you need to bring it out somehow. Work out, exercise, punch a pillow, write a really, really angry letter where you swear at everyone and then tear it apart or burn it, you know, in a safe environment. So yeah, I'm trying to think of ways in which you can integrate aggression in a healthy way. Some of you could even choose to work in professions that deal with aggression subtly, like being a butcher, like being a dentist, like being a mortician. Like situations where you have to control people's bodies or animal bodies, but it's kind of like you're transmuting the energy, like, because we need people to, you know, give us food to eat and bury our dead and take care of our cavities, you know, so things like that. I hope that makes sense. Or even boxing or like wrestling could be a way in which you can, you know, release that pent-up energy but integrate it at the same time. So I hope that makes sense. So there is a process here where you need to acknowledge your aggression, and then at the same time releasing a little bit of it through socially acceptable behaviors. There you go. That was the summary. We have the octopus here, and I think that what really pisses you off or what really triggers you most of the time is situations of boundarylessness. I did it. Yes. Okay, so where you have loose boundaries, people might step on your tentacles. Ouch, right? So then you kind of like, I feel that instead of actually saying, hey, you know, watch out, it's my tentacle, don't step on my tentacle, right? Come on. Instead of doing that, which is a very healthy release of setting the boundaries straight up and making people aware and attentive to the fact that, hey, this shall not go, right? This will not pass. Instead of doing that, I feel like you guys go like, okay. So you are annoyed, but you're not expressing it, right? You're not letting the other person know. Because just like Gloria Steinem said, anger is holy. Anger has a very important role in our life. When we just express it on the spot, immediately, we tell other people that, hey, you cannot talk to me like that. Hey, you just crossed the boundary, you know, or I won't put up with that. I won't do that, you know. I need to stand in my integrity, yeah? And I don't care if you threaten me or if you try to bend me according to your human will. I am guarded and protected by the divine. So a lot of you need to step into this energy, and you need to start expressing small bursts of anger when people cross your boundaries in healthy ways, just like that. You put it into words. You don't punch a person, you know. That example with smashing the plates, I kind of regret giving you guys, but yeah, sometimes maybe, you know, if you don't like, if you need to throw away some dishes, yeah, smash a plate, why not? You know, just be careful you don't harm somebody or yourself. But it's kind of like expressing it on the daily basis instead of actually allowing it to pent up, and then it erupts and it explodes, and you find it very hard to control it because all this energy was just waiting, nudging to come out, right? So I feel that this is how you can embody your divine masculine energy better, you know, that force of the tiger coming at you, roaring, you know, that I saw when I began your meditation. You just take that force in you and you say, oh, cuddly kitty, you know. I hope that makes sense. But it's kind of like, instead of fighting back and defending yourself against the inevitable fact that we as human beings have aggression within us. This is just how we are. That's our makeup. That's our primeval brain, right? We have that, but that doesn't mean that we don't have ways to cope with it. We don't have ways in which we can integrate it and work with it, right? Some other great ways to work with your aggression is to use it or channel it in creativity, channel it in extreme feats of physical stamina. So maybe run a marathon, right? Maybe paint, maybe splash things, you know, Jackson Pollock style, right? So take your can of paint and just slash, you know, just release your emotions, your anger, your frustration on a blank canvas, okay? Or through sexuality, okay? So you can, you know, you can play a little bit hardcore with a willing and open partner, okay? So explore these aspects, because that's ways in which those are ways, the appropriate grammatical expression. I don't want to upset my teachers. I had very good English teachers. So yeah, those are ways in which you can embody your divine masculine energy that a lot of you have been suppressing and keeping within. And for those of you that want to study law as well, great job. This is an excellent way in which you can transmute the energy. Instead of having, you know, lashing out or having violent arguments with people, you take the space and the time to craft very important, powerful arguments that have the power to convict or, you know, release a person's life, right? So there you go, another great way in which you can integrate this aggressive divine masculine energy within you. So I hope this helped. Oof, I could feel the energy. You kind of energized me as well as I was doing this reading. But yeah, as I said, you know, aggression, releasing that energy, releasing the flow from the root chakra gives you life, gives you this vitality that I think was lacking from your life, okay? And keep in mind, if you're suffering from depression in most cases is just anger that is turned towards yourself. So it's very good to find healthy outlets to release it. And I do advise you guys to work with a trained psychological counselor or a therapist, okay? Aside from that, thank you very much for listening to this message. I'm super happy that you guys are here. And yeah, we're transmuting this energy. The sky is very weird at the moment, but you know what? I'm not going to take it lying down. I'm going to use this energy and transmute it by creating this PickACard readings for you guys, because I love you and I want you to live your best lives, okay? So hopefully see you in my next one. Bye. Hey group 2, hello my loves, welcome to my channel. So this is for those of you that were drawn to this tourmaline pendant. If you skipped over the introduction, it's really important that you don't place your tourmaline in water because it can break. I learned this the hard way. This is my second pendant, okay? So just a heads up to those of you who are interested in crystals. I know a lot of my crew members are, so I just thought, you know, I'd be using more crystals in your choices and also giving you some background on them. So before I dive into the pre-shuffle cards I have here for you, group 2, I want to read you the images, words, sights, impressions, visions, colors that I had when I did a 7-minute meditation in order to prepare for your reading. So I started doing these meditations recently. I feel that they're a wonderful way of getting in touch with your inner self, and we do need this in 2020, okay? Our butts are being kicked to do the inner spiritual work. But also I think that they're very important for giving you extra messages of inspiration and insight into how best you can embody your masculine self. Okay, so I have them here on my phone. So in my meditation, what I saw for you, group 2, was an eagle, you know, like peering over a valley and then swooping down in the valley, almost as if it saw something that it wants to attack. I also saw a man's bare feet in the cold mud, and the man was wearing like some frayed old garments. I saw a green emerald turning very slowly, beautiful, pure quality. Then I had this conversation that appeared in my mind between two people that were talking about being independent versus being codependent. Then I felt a period of pause and a white light, and it felt very hard for me to connect to spirit. And I took this as an indication that some of you might feel that it's very, very difficult for you to connect and access spirit. You might find it very difficult to trust or to believe that a higher force has your back. It's also, I think, for a lot of you hard to make a definitive statement on things. Like you tend to dwindle between one or the other. And it's very hard for you to just say, this is what I want, this is what I'm gonna go for on the spot, you know? Then I saw an image of hands knotting like this above someone's head. Again, I also saw a room that was filling up with water, and it filled up all the way to the ceiling, and everything turned a deep shade of blue. I took this as an indication that usually deep blue is the Ajna color, so the third eye, something about following your intuition more and kind of looking within. Then I also saw an image of a puma eating a rooster's head on the land of a farm. So that was a very strange image because pumas don't usually go around farms, but there it was. And it looked very sweet and sedated. Actually, it wasn't a horror image at all. And finally, I could feel the words, "it's so hard to be me," rising up to the surface. So some of you could be struggling with identity issues, potentially caused by not integrating this masculine aspect of yourself within your own understanding of who it is you really are. So there could be you could be having some ideas about masculinity. Masculinity could be toxic, masculinity could be disappointing, masculinity is something that you don't do, and you kind of pushed it towards your unconscious, towards the realm of your shadow self, while your soul consciousness sees you as fully feminine, fully passive and receptive and sweet and kind and gentle. So all those characteristics that are traditionally associated with femininity. Maybe some of you have a very traditional understanding of what a man should be like and a woman should be like, and you don't see how both could be together. Maybe that's why you're here. You're very curious to find out how this is going to play out. But I'm speaking to that psychological aspect within you that Carl Jung identified as the animus and anima, that collective archetype that we tend to individually embody within ourselves. And this speaks about the potential to act more masculine or the potential to act more feminine that all of us have within our minds, and we tend to absorb this from our cultures as we are growing up. So if you grew up in a very traditional culture, it's not a surprise if you have a very traditional mindset, because that's what you grew up absorbing. And you need to have a very rebellious mindset, one that is potentially touched by the genius of Uranus, to actually say, No, actually, I think that women should be more manly and men should be more effeminate. Yay! You know, so I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but you would have to encounter a lot of resistance in your environment. And I think a lot of people would disagree with you and will make you feel very uncomfortable about entertaining a different mindset than the one that is prevalent in the culture in which you were born. So, having said this, let's look at your cards. The first card that we have for you is Pig Spirit. Use your mind wisely. When I looked at the recording time, 5:55, I think a lot of you are going through an awakening at the moment. I think a lot of you could be feeling a little bit confused, a little bit like, what is happening? Potentially you are, your brain is being rewired. You are enhancing your neural connections because you're learning a lot. You're absorbing new things into your mind. Hopefully this reading is going to be something new for you as well. That is my intention, to entertain you, but also to get you to think differently about things. So use your mind wisely. I think that this is also about your creative capacity. So one way in which you can embody more of your divine masculine self is not only to move beyond this traditional understanding of what a woman is and a man is, and kind of like think differently about gender roles, right? But it's also about being creative, being playful. Yeah, so this is about, pigs with wings on clouds. So it's about having fun with this energy and not feeling like you need to follow the rule of the people behind you, like your ancestors and the people around you, like your family, and if you do so, oh my god, terror, shock, madness. No, it's just you're changing your mind, that's all. You shouldn't feel like you should be punished for that, because I think some of you could actually be very hard on yourself because, again, you adopted that critical behavior from the people in your environment that had to be staunch with you to pass on to you those traditional, socially acceptable gender norms, right? So this is all a process of you unpicking, right? Tearing apart what you think a woman is and what you think a man is, right? So having fun, experimenting, trying out different things, even having fun with watching series that are, bending the gender roles, queer as folk, the L Word, for example, watching or even like swapping clothes, wearing more manly clothes if you're very feminine or you were brought up to be very feminine and twee, wearing more manly clothes and see how that feels. Some cargo pants, some army jackets, some, I don't know, checkered lumberjack t-shirts. Why not? Some boots, something like that, something that feels traditionally masculine, and integrating it with something more feminine. So I'm just trying to give you some ideas. You don't have to follow or pursue any of these things. If you think these are silly suggestions, please discard them, okay? But I'm just trying to think of practical ways in which you can move beyond this traditional gender dichotomy, okay? So we have here, focus upon divine and perfect health. This is the advice from Archangel Michael. Let me read you the prayer. So, God and Archangel Michael, thank you for continuously reminding me to focus upon perfect health and for guiding my actions so that they support my well-being. So I think a lot of you could have been living with very repressed identities, and maybe some of you could feel sometimes that you're losing your mind, that you feel the pressure of actually having to live in a society that is not giving you more options. I feel like a lot of you would love to have more options. And as I'm saying this, I can hear my neighbor vacuuming the floor. It's midnight, guys. But yeah, these are the people I live with. But I think this is significant. Vacuum effect. Maybe you feel that there are no supportive people in your environment, people that you can confide in. Maybe there isn't a pastor or like a counselor or a doctor that you can talk with. Maybe you are in a part of a very small community, or if you talk to people about, maybe having gender reassigning surgery, or not even going so far, you know, on a scale of extreme gender reassigning surgery to small, having a conversation about the variety of sexual identities out there, the spectrum of gender out there, right? So it's a spectrum here. Spectrum on a spectrum. Oh my god, I'm gonna see myself out. Sorry guys, I'm trying to explain this as simple as possible, but I think you get the point. So, you know, from small tiny things you can do and change to big things you can do and change, the traditionalism within which I personally feel that some of you grew up in. If this does not apply to you, then choose a different pile. You might have you know, misintuitively picked this pile. Misintuitively, we are creating words on the Spiritual Social. Feel free to, you know, share the word creations down in the comments below. Okay, so let's move on. We have here illumination, Ace of Wands. I feel that some of you, you know, 2020 has been a year of awakening. Some of you could be coming out of the closet. That's what I'm hearing. The proverbial closet, right? So some of you could be coming out and letting people know, Mom, Dad, I'm gay, or I'm different, or, you know, some of you could be intersex, and you could be telling the partner you're dating or your group of friends, hey, this is who I am, you know? So I feel like for a lot of you, this is like part of that courage and confidence of the divine masculine is you coming out, is you accepting yourself fully and making this socially known. So this only applies for some of you. For others of you, it's just changing your mindset about what it means to be a man and a woman. For others of you, this is about coming out and having your gender identity finally recognized for who it is you feel you are, not for who other people in your culture are telling you that you should be. Wow, I did not expect this reading to go down this path, but we do have the Ace of Wands, right? So this is primal fire energy, creating yourself. Hands could be significant. Hands relates to Gemini, so maybe the North Node in Gemini transit is really important for you coming out in your local community. Then we have here the Child of Cups. This is the feeler. So again, as I said, I think this contours the idea that I said earlier, that you need to show the world who it is that you feel you are, not who it is you know you are, or who it is you've been educated or trained to say that you are, right? So kind of respecting your inner knowing, third eye, inner knowing. And this is gonna increase your well-being, your overall well-being. Some of you could be sad, some of you could be having some somatic symptoms because you've been trying to keep everything within. But now embodying the divine masculine means that you have the courage to show the world the real you, show them who it is you really are, and the courage as well to suffer the blowback, because I'm sure some of you already know how other people might react, but you might be surprised, okay? You don't know until you do it. So I feel a lot of you are trapped in the analysis of how other people might react, but I think it's important for you to keep in mind that people can react in a variety of different ways. You cannot control that. However, you can control how you tell them, right? So the place where you come from, whether you come from a place of fear and you just say, oh my God, I am this person, and then you run away, or whether you're arrogant and you say, yes, so that's me, okay, shove it, you know? Or you come from a place of love and compassion and you tell people, I don't want to suffer anymore in silence. This is who I am. If you don't accept me, that's fine, but I have to live according to my own truth, okay? And, you know, tell people that this is making you feel afraid and uncomfortable, and you're being very brave for doing this, yeah? Vulnerability, right? Truth, integrity. This is the cornerstone of how you can make your truth come out into the known. So compassionate courage, that's how you can embody your divine masculine. Some of you could be quite religious, or you grew up in religious families, so it's an act of courage just to bring up a conversation about diverse sexual identities and diverse gender identities, and, you know, exploring maybe having connections with partners of different cultures, different races, different religions as well, right? So this can apply on a whole spectrum. I did make it specifically about gender identity, but I feel that this is a general concern for those of you that chose this group, because I am speaking to a collective, that you need to embody the courage, the compassionate courage to not put up with a fake front anymore, and just let people know who it is you really are and what it is you like and how you're going to live your life. Yeah. So, oh my God, look at this card. This is brilliant. The Spirit of Truth. Yeah, I don't think I need to interpret this card more. I think it says exactly what it needs to say. Be honest. Be honest. And this compassionate courage is going to help you tap into this inner well of honesty so you can share your truth and speak it in front of those people that mean a lot to you. Confirmation from Spirit. I heard some bottles clinking outside. So we have here the bat, and also Luna is waking up. We have here the bat, which speaks about nocturnal pleasures. I think this is also, you know, how the bath is coming out of a cave, and there's this bright light of the moon behind it. So a secret is coming out into the light. And the bat is a very sensitive creature. It has lived in the dark, had to defend itself, but actually bats are very gentle and sweet and very, very sensitive, even though they look a bit horrifying. So it's kind of like keeping a secret that might horrify others. Horrify. Why would people's choice to live the life that they want to live be horrifying? But we still have some medieval conceptions about how people should behave and act, unfortunately. But this is a card that shows victory over the darkness, victory over those forces that were keeping you trapped and in a cave by yourself in the cold. Even though for some of you, this was a protective device, right? Bats need that darkness. They thrive in it. Some of you could be Scorpios. And then finally, we have the turtle card. Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, it could have taken you such a long time to actually embody this courage, to actually rise up into it and, you know, tell the world, hey, it's me. This is who I am. But I feel for most of you, you're going to embody this compassionate courage aspect of the inner divine masculine. And you're going to come out, whether creatively, religiously, sexually, gender-wise, however you choose to. You know the area of your life where you have been repressing something, but you are ready to do it. And I'm letting you know that being courageous in how you speak, in how you stand, in how you show up in front of other people that matter to you, and speaking with kindness about yourself in relation to others is going to help you in this process of embodying this masculine energy. So you've got like a very sensitive, beautiful, kind of like inner warrior, divine masculine that you are ready to kind of take into your arms and bring into yourself, you know, kind of make part of yourself. So yeah, I feel very guided to end it here. I don't feel like I should speak more because I will taint this message. I hope you have enjoyed it, my dears. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, tap the bell to receive notifications. It's always a pleasure for me to do these readings for you. And even though we're going through a period of pretty low, mucky, weird energy between a Mars retrograde and a Mercury retrograde that is looming over us, you know what? We're going to take this energy and we're going to transmute it, okay? We're going to do the best with what we have. That's the spirit on the spiritual social. So hope to see you guys in my next reading. I'm sending you so much love. Bye. Hey, group 3. I'm so happy to have you here, guys. I hope you're doing well. So this is for those of you that were drawn to the simple, classic obsidian stone that is nonetheless scintillating. What a beautiful protective energy this stone has. So I highly recommend, if you're thinking of purchasing a stone, start with an obsidian or a carnelian. They're very grounding, protective stone, okay? So I'm only saying these things because I know you guys love to choose from crystals. I did a poll on my Instagram. Make sure to follow me there at MS Bontoms as well. And you guys actually said you love to pick from crystals and you love to hear some more background about them. So I aim to please. I'm giving you what you guys have requested. Before I get into the pre-shuffle cards I have here, and I just pre-shuffle these because I just want to get into the message directly, I actually want to read you the sights, sounds, impressions, words that came up to me during the 7-minute meditation I was undergoing before beginning this reading. So I recently made a decision to meditate more. 2020 is looming with this energy of going within and doing a lot of deep inner work, ancestral work, shadow work, a lot of work, you know. So I decided that it would be great if I could share this with you. So meditation and oracle and tarot messages should go hand in hand. At least this is how I feel guided to do this in this period, and I hope it will benefit you and inspire you and give you more insights into how you can best embody your divine masculine. Because this is why we're here, guys. Yeah, we're gonna figure out how to become more manly and what would be the benefit of that in your life. So I have here my notes on my phone, which I took after the meditation. So the images that I saw while I was in this trance were 2 hands outstretched, almost like this in this shape. So they opened up like this, and a dove emerged out of it, a pure white, bright dove. It felt almost like the image of, you know, the traditional image of the Holy Spirit. This is how the Holy Spirit is usually represented in Christian Orthodox paintings or kind of, you know, memorabilia. And I felt that there was this atmosphere of paradise or heaven. So it's almost as if there was this light that was bringing you closer to a divine presence, a divine state of mind. And then I saw, okay, I kid you not, I saw a golden cross as well. So it was really massive and very bright, but it felt almost like the gold was watery, like it was molten. It was very interesting. Then I saw the image of a tornado in the distance, kind of how you see on television those, you know, those tornadoes that happen on vast American natural plains, right? And you could see it perfectly from top to bottom, this gyrating body that was coming with full force through a community. Then I saw the face of a lamb, and if you guys have seen a lamb, Alexandra, my grammar. Sorry, English teacher, sorry. You did a good job, it's just me being weird. So if you ever saw a lamb, they have these like really sweet faces, but they also look quite complacent, quite placid, like this, you know. So that's the kind of face that I saw. And then windows in a darkened building, almost like a 10-story building that was completely dark. You could see the outline of the windows, but one apartment had a light on and the window was cracked open. Really interesting, right? Then I saw a man in a suit in a room that was pencil marked, and this man had no face. And I felt that there was this feeling of a fear of being overlooked or forgotten that came from this meditation that I had for your pile specifically. And finally, the meditation actually wrapped up after this period of a little bit of grayness. It wrapped up with the image of a lion. I saw the profile of the lion roaring, almost as if it was preparing for a fight in the night. So really interesting. It's almost kind of like an interesting blend there of, I feel like I'm disappearing, I'm turning into a shadow and I'm wasting away, and then all of a sudden like, no, I'm going to put up a good fight, you know. So I feel like you guys are warriors, you're badasses. I feel like your divine masculine energy is that kind of an energy that gets up and gets going even if life has thrown so much toxicity your way. It's kind of like you make your way through it, and you might have moments when you feel like, oh, I'm just slipping away, I can't do it anymore, I can't, God, I can't, and then all of a sudden I will, you know. And it's like you clench your fists and you're like, I'm gonna do this again, I'm gonna show them who I am, you know. And this is actually with the best intentions, because I think for a lot of you this has been a very strong survival mechanism, okay? So let's get into the cards that I have for you. Wow, the Vulture. Oh wow, this is excellent. It's such a great omen because the vulture is the medicine bird of the bird world. So vultures look kind of creepy. If you've seen them in documentaries, they are like lurking. They look a little bit disgusting as well. They look like unfinished birds, you know, like God had a really good day when he created, or she created, the hawk or the eagle, but then kind of put together the vulture and it's like, okay, go and scavenge for some dead bodies. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting whenever I see a vulture. But here's the interesting thing: even though they look disgusting, vultures are actually so important for the trophic chain. They swoop in and eat those bits of dead bodies that no other bird would eat. And they clean a corpse completely, yeah, there's no additional adjective or noun to that sentence. So they clean it completely. I had this image of a mortician as well. So I'm not sure if you guys are into deaf studies, you're training to become morticians, you're interested or fascinated by that. I'm sure that Halloween is your favorite holiday of the year. You could be attracted to macabre stories. You could be watching a lot of crime series or crime mysteries. You could be drawn to gory details. And I feel that for some of you, gory stuff kind of makes you laugh as well. So you have like a very healthy sense of reality, because you wouldn't be able to laugh at something like that if you wouldn't understand the thin divide between reality and make-believe, right? So I generally think that it's not a sign of psychopathy if you are actually enjoying gory movies, you know. It's more of a sign of an intellect that is very rational and logical, you know. Just like IT guys, for example, are into death metal or something like that, just like to balance the kind of humdrum work that they do and kind of socially isolating work that they do sometimes with something more intense, you know, like more dramatic. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend anyone, but this is from my experience that, you know, the people that I've interacted with, they usually go for that death metal, you know. So the vulture, coming back to the vulture, which kind of for me captures all of these things: goriness, gory movies, a death metal, but also like being the mortician of the zodiac. The zodiac? I kind of flowed into that. Why? Oh, I'm getting very strong Scorpio and Capricorn vibes, so maybe this is why. And I got so warm when I said that. Wow. Some of you could be Leos as well, but like the introverted Leos, very rare types. Let's move on to your next card. What was I saying? Confirmation. Hello, Scorpio, Scorpio moon, Scorpio ascendant, Scorpio suns. Talk about death metal, right? And talk about scavenging, talk about cleaning corpses, you know, laughing at gory details, and a flair for intensity in life and understanding, you know, the death and birth and rebirth cycle. I think this is what this speaks volumes to kind of having a bit of a dark personality. Even if you don't dress in dark ways, you don't need to be a goth to have a goth soul, you know, like your cultural taste could be very diversified and very interesting. I'm hearing as well that some of you could be into BDSM as well. And hear me out, okay? So this is a reading about how to embody your divine masculine. And what I'm getting here is that some of you are already in this energy, but you need to kind of fully own it, you know? And some of you could be scared of this. You could be thinking, ugh, everything you have described, Lexi, is no. No. But this is the energy of the divine masculine that some of you are meant to embody, okay? If none of this resonates, please choose another pile. I have 2 more in this reading, right? So this is a lot about embodying the dark aspects of your divine masculine, and your divine masculine energy is subtle, is sarcastic, but it's also quite secretive and darkly mysterious, okay? So this is about getting more in touch with the darker aspects of reality of humankind, of the range of cultural expressions that we have out there, if you want to call them like that, like maybe more dark movies or reading darker books, or as I said, watching darker movies, or psychological thrillers, things like that. So that's kind of the energy that these two govern over, right? Death primarily, dealing with issues of loss, intensity, abandonment, neglect. So let's see what other cards you got. Oh, I feel like this is like a light in the dark. It's kind of like if you see the Scorpio card here, right? In the darkness, the Scorpio's tail, that stinger that can poison you and sometimes kill you, right? This stinger in the dark is actually meant to illuminate. Scorpios can be brutally honest, and a lot of them know and can see the abuse that is happening around them, but they choose not to speak up, afraid of the consequences and afraid of the fact that they could transform the people around them. But it is wiser if a Scorpio kind of rises into this ego-like energy, transcends this brute Scorpio kind of level, and speaks up and defends the weak and says the truth and acts with integrity and honesty. This is basically the path forward in this situation. And here with the Ancestor of Hope, this kind of lets me know of the stamina that a racehorse has, right? The training, the feeding, the grooming that goes into preparing a racehorse for a race, right? And then the sheer force of the galloping of a horse, which to my mind speaks about integrating the light and the dark, right? Not being afraid to see situations for what they really are, acknowledging both the lighter aspect and the darker aspect of mankind. Understanding that people can have some really socially displeasing appetites sometimes, and how do we deal with this as a society, as a collective, how do we manage to control people that can be on the fringe of insanity or borderline obsessiveness, or can even have murderous instincts, So I feel like in order for you to embody the divine masculine energy, you need to kind of accept the darkness within you. And when you come into contact with other people, not to be afraid of their own darkness, but to help others understand their own darkness, because you are highly aware of the darkness within you, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of Venus and Scorpio, Mars and Scorpios will be attracted to this specific pile. So you guys know what I'm talking about. You can even have Venus conjunct Pluto, which kind of works in the same way. So we have here synthesis, and this is the Eight of Crystals. Yeah, this is the Eight of Swords. This card gives a really positive interpretation. So synthesis is about bringing things together into a complete whole summary, right? So this is a lot about collaging yourself back together. By embodying your divine masculine energy, you are not only a positive, life-affirming person, but you're getting deeper into your spiritual sense of self by acknowledging your shadow self, by acknowledging maybe if you have some dark pleasures, dark desires. This could range from having some sort of BDSM sexual fantasies that you might want to enact one day, to generally just enjoying being alone in the dark. Maybe you just enjoy the experience of turning the light off in the room and being in the dark, getting comfortable with the dark. Some of you could have some issues sleeping without a light on, and you've been working to get rid of this habit, but it's not happening. You're an adult and it still is happening. And I think this is because you are afraid of the darkness within. And that's just acknowledging the fact that, we are flawed beings. Sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we need to ask others for forgiveness. Sometimes we get into ego trips. Sometimes we are a bit more vengeful, or condescending, or, we want to pick up fights when we could just let things be and be peaceful. So I think this is about integrating that side of yourself. So we have here from Archangel Michael, the advice is the eternal love. I think that the more you integrate this darkness, all these things that could potentially scare you, I feel for some of you, you are thrilled by this and you enjoy it. You reached one level up and you're like, you know what? I'm not afraid of these things. I'm gonna make them my bitch, right? So for others of you, I feel that yeah, you're still kind of in a little bit afraid, but the more you get into this energy, the more you're gonna, you know, integrate parts of yourself, and it's like inner union is going to take place. This is the essence of the eternal love card. It's not only about, oh, I'm looking forward to attracting my soulmate, but this is about first loving yourself and then attracting your soulmate, right? So the Archangel Michael, help me perceive all the love that surrounds me so that I can feel safe receiving, expressing, and giving love. I don't feel I need to clarify more. And you, my dears, and I'm gonna wrap up the reading with these cards. You got 3 animal spirit cards. I don't know what happened, but you know, they jumped up. I shuffled twice, and every time 3 cards popped up. So I decided, okay, let's go for that. So we have here Coyote Spirit, Trust in Divine Detours, number 16. Yeah, I get the sense, and my eyelid is kind of like flopping a little bit. I get the sense that some of you are driving yourself a little bit, you know, your type A personalities, your achievers, and I feel like you want to control things a little bit too harshly sometimes. So you need to kind of learn how to properly let go and understand that you and spirit work together. Whatever you create in this reality, the inspiration, the ideas, the ways in which you meet the right people at the right time, they're all orchestrated by a divine force. It's not just you. So when you understand that deeply, that you are co-creating with spirit, then you can let go a little bit. You don't have to be in control all the time, and you don't have to steer your ship all the time and think that it's your responsibility if things go badly, and to feel really cocky when things go well because I did it, you know. I'm sure that a lot of you don't go to those 2 extremes, but it's really important to cultivate trust into the unknown, to not be afraid of the dark, and don't be afraid of the mystery of life, but just get into really enjoying it, right? Just like, you know, with the vulture, kind of like, I feel like for some of you, this is kind of leveling up in terms of maturity, emotional maturity. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm not saying that you're not emotionally mature, but it's like we can always be more, right? More emotionally mature, more self-conscious, more aware. So it's kind of like, you know, going upwards. I keep getting this kind of the energy of things going upwards, maybe because the energy at the moment is kind of flatlining, and a part of me wants to lift it up, you know. Light worker defect, right? Professional defect. And then we have here Frog Spirit number 28, and it says here, clear out the clutter. And as I'm saying this, my eyes started itching, which is interesting because the eyes are the windows to our souls. And the frog treads the line between earth and water, so lives in 2 domains at the same time. So maybe some of you could need to develop a more secretive side, become a little bit more private. Don't share yourself fully with everyone all the time. Keep separate groups of friends, you know, explore some darker sides of reality with some group of friends, and keep, you know, your normal business and everyday affairs in a separate closet. So that's again the essence of Scorpio, right? Secrecy, privacy, keeping, like having some sort of exclusive group of people that you share yourself fully with, while keeping only superficial aspects of yourself for other people, right? That you won't allow in because you're protective, right? So finally, the card that we have here is the Hummingbird Spirit, and the number is number 34. Be here now. And I think this relates very beautifully with the Coyote card, which is if you learn to trust in spirit and let go, then you can be more fully present. You don't have to live in the future so much, or, you know, go down memory lane and regret and become really nostalgic and, you know, think about, oh, what if things were different? But you also don't have this future anxiety like, oh my God, I need to control everything right now, because if I don't do my best, then I won't get the desired outcome. You will get it. If it's meant to be, you will get it. If it's not meant to be, no matter how much you push and shove and pull, it's not going to work out, my darling. So it's really, really important for you to embody this dark masculine, so dark divine masculine, to find a balance between the dark and the hope, light and dark, hope and I won't say despair, because despair would be the equivalent, but I think this is more about fear, hope and fear. Yeah, this is definitely about clearing up your energetic body to allow both aspects to come through. And in some images, for example, you can study the images of Shiva. Shiva is represented as embodying this kind of darkly lunar, nocturnal light of awareness, and this kind of bright, blazing solar consciousness. So it's kind of like bringing those two together, you know. And I hope I've given you some inspiration and some tips as to how you can do that. Yeah, listen to death metal. Sorry, I don't know, I just went into some very pragmatic examples at the beginning of this reading, but feel free to take this reading and apply it to your sweet, sweet life however you wish, okay? I'm super happy that you're here and you listened to my reading. Thank you so much. Feel free to like, share, comment, tap the bell to receive notifications after you subscribe to my channel. Include yourself in my family. We're growing each day and I'm super happy to have you here, guys. I know the energy is a bit crappy in the sky at the moment. I'm gonna say it as it is, you know, but because we are a love and light tribe, we take the bad in life and we transform it into something bright and beautiful and blazing. That is my intention, and I hope it's helping you guys finding more hope and pushing forward with confidence and love and compassion. So I'm sending you on your way, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one.